It started with a sound, a ghost in the machine, a forgotten message resurrected from the depths of outdated technology. It was a sound that would unravel everything I thought I knew, a crackle of static, the kind that clings to the air like dust, a prelude to something sinister. It filled the silence, a void waiting to be filled with dread. Then my brother's voice, thin and stretched as if pulled across a vast, empty distance. It was a voice I knew so well, yet it sounded alien, distorted by fear and something else I couldn't quite place. "They're making me forget," he whispered, desperate and frayed, like a rope about to snap. Each word was a struggle, a fight against an unseen force. The background wasn't just static, it was a canvas of corrupted sound. It was wrong, a reversed whisper slithering beneath his words, a subliminal horror buried within the noise, a dark echo that hinted at something far more sinister than mere interference. This message was left 3 weeks before he vanished, 3 weeks of agonizing silence before the world knew he was gone. 3 weeks I wish I could take back. The police said a grown man has the right to disappear, to shed his life like an old skin and walk away. But they didn't hear the terror in his voice, the chilling undercurrent of something not being right. They didn't hear the sound of a man being erased. "If I vanish," he'd said, "check Westford." It was real, a desperate plea etched in fear, a breadcrumb trail left in the hopes that someone would follow. Westford, a name that lingered long after the message ended, a phantom echo in the silence that followed. It was a name that clung to me, a constant reminder of what I had lost. It wasn't a place I knew or anyone knew. It was a blank spot on the map, a void in the collective memory. But it was the only clue I had, the single thread I could grasp in the darkness, my only hope of finding him. I listened to that recording 100 times, maybe 1,000, straining to hear something new in the hiss, some hidden detail that would unlock the mystery. I was desperate for any sign, any clue. Sometimes I thought I heard laughter, a sound that sent shivers down my spine. Distant, hollow, predatory. The laughter of something inhuman, something that reveled in my brother's fear. The voicemail was more than a message, it was a siren's call. It was a warning, a desperate attempt to keep me away, a fragment of a place that didn't want to be found, a secret buried deep beneath layers of deception and fear, already consuming my brother, pulling him into its dark embrace, and now waiting for me, beckoning me towards the unknown. My world shrank to the size of that 3-minute recording, a loop of terror and desperation. The police saw a man who left, a statistic in a file. I heard a man who was taken, a victim of something sinister and unseen. Westford became my obsession, my destination, the focal point of my existence. I had to know if the place that erased him was real, if it was a tangible location or a figment of his fractured mind, or if I was following a ghost into madness, chasing a phantom that would lead me to my own destruction. My search began, a journey propelled by questions and a desperate hope for answers. It was a quest to understand not just where we came from, but perhaps who we were meant to be. It didn't start with maps, though those would come later, charting a course through forgotten territories. It began with memories, fragments of stories whispered across generations, faces frozen in time within faded photographs, specifically my brother Daniel's memories. He held the key, or so I believed. He was the self-appointed family historian, driven by an insatiable curiosity. He dedicated himself to piecing together our mother's mysterious lineage, a puzzle shrouded in secrets and whispers. He'd unearthed a great-grandmother's name, a name previously unknown to us, a ghost in our family history. He spoke of old homesteads abandoned and reclaimed by nature, silent witnesses to forgotten lives, forgotten parishes, their records holding the keys to births, marriages, and deaths long past. It was more than just genealogy for him, it was a quest for belonging, a search for roots in a world that often felt rootless. The last time we spoke, his voice crackled with an urgency I couldn't quite place. He was excited, practically buzzing with nervous energy. He was convinced he'd finally found our origin point, the place where our family's story truly began. He described it as a rural community nestled in the north, a place seemingly untouched by time. He didn't name it then, holding back the crucial detail. He was saving it for a grand reveal, a moment of shared discovery that we would never have. After he vanished without a trace, leaving behind only unanswered questions, I went to his flat, hoping to find some clue, some explanation for his sudden disappearance. Papers everywhere. A chaotic landscape of research and obsession, birth certificates, each one a tiny piece of the puzzle, death records marking the end of lives and the closing of chapters, yellowed clippings, whispering tales of events long past. On a tear-stained notepad, amidst the disarray, Westford. And beneath it, scrawled in frantic handwriting, strange phrases that chilled me to the bone. They don't leave, they are remembered. The festival keeps it safe. Don't look at the stones. It was the rambling of a man losing his grip, teetering on the edge of sanity. But it was all I had, the only tangible link to my missing brother. A thread of ancestry, twisted and frayed, leading not to a place on a map, a simple geographical location, but into the heart of a nightmare, a darkness that threatened to consume everything. Daniel wasn't just building a family tree. He was digging up something that was better left buried. He was searching for a home, a sanctuary from the storms of life, a permanent home, a safe haven that couldn't be taken away, no matter the cost. Now I was following his trail, retracing his steps into the abyss, into the unknown, where the past refused to stay silent. Armed with a name, I searched everywhere. Google Maps, old atlases, satellite images. Westford didn't exist. Not online, not in any modern record. I scoured the British Library, tracing ancient maps, searching for a ghost. Then, on a 19th century county map, I found it a smudge, a deliberate blot. Holding the map to the light, I saw faint letters, Westford. Someone had tried to erase it. My heart pounded. Daniel wasn't mad. The town had existed. This wasn't a forgotten ruin, it was a surgical removal, a scar on the map, proof that something happened in Westford so terrible or strange, it had to be erased. The world had decided to forget. But I couldn't. The search had truly begun. I was chasing a place the world wanted to erase. The map gave me a location but not a story. I dug through census records, local histories, parish newsletters, nothing. Westford was a void, a black hole in the archives. Then a junior archivist led me to a basement of uncatalogued, water-damaged documents. After hours of sifting, I found it, a leather-bound ledger. Westford Parish Council, 1880-1895. The pages detailed the mundane life of a town. Repairs, disputes, oil for lamps. But the entries grew stranger, a yearly tithe, not of money but of memories, notes about unraveling and the whispering sickness. The final entry, the festival is upon us, may we be remembered, may we be forgotten. After that, the pages were blank. Westford was real, and it had secrets. The town paid a price to survive. The ledger was a warning, and an invitation. I had to see the place for myself. The story was waiting in the moor, and so was I. The ledger gave me coordinates, landmarks, a path, a ghost road. Cross-referencing the map, I pinpointed the location. Deep in the moors, miles from any modern road. There was nothing there now, just empty hills and marshland. But I knew better. A town had stood there, a town that paid a tithe of memories. I drove north, the world fading behind me, the radio dissolving into static. The road ended at a rusty gate. Beyond, the moor stretched out, vast and empty. There was no path, except a faint depression in the land, a ghost of a track. The road to Westford. As I walked, the sounds of the modern world vanished. Only the wind remained. And beneath it a low hum, a vibration from the ground itself. Then, on the wind, I heard it again. The sound from the voicemail, the laughter of children. It was impossible. There was no one for miles. But the sound was clear, and it wasn't joyful. It was the sound of a game where I was it. The walk took hours, the ghost road twisting through the moor, the landscape repeating, disorienting. The wind whispered my name. Suddenly, I was standing on a cobbled street, moss-covered stones marking the outline of a vanished town. Westford wasn't a ruin. It was a town swallowed by the earth, half forgotten. It felt like I'd pulled back the blanket on something sleeping. There was no one here, and yet, it didn't feel empty. The wind moved through the ruins, almost like breathing. I walked the main street past the blacksmith's forge, the village well. Then I saw it. A fresh Polaroid on the church steps me, walking away, taken moments ago. My blood ran cold. I spun around. No one. Just the wind and the laughter of children now coming from all directions. The town knew I was here. It had been expecting me. The church was the most intact, its tower reaching skyward, ivy clinging like a shroud. Inside, a circle of stones, a pile of offerings, scratched photographs, a doll, a single shoe. This was the place from the ledger, the site of the tithe. I thought of Daniel's note, the festival keeps it safe. My memories felt fragile, thin. I tried to picture my brother's face, and for a moment I couldn't. The air was toxic to memory, a solvent. I backed out, breath ragged, feeling unseen eyes on me. The whispers grew clearer. Give it. Forget him. Stay. The town demanded remembrance from those who belonged to it. It fed on the past, harvesting stories, faces, names. It had taken Daniel's and now it wanted mine. I ran, but the landscape had changed, the road gone, landmarks vanished. The moor closed in a living maze with no exit. The laughter grew louder, closer. This wasn't just a place, it was a trap. Panic gave way to dread. I was lost, trapped. As night fell, I returned to a cottage that felt familiar. Inside, a rusted tin box held old photographs. Faces from another century. They stared back, grim, as if they knew their fate. Then I saw it. A family. Man, woman, 2 boys. The man had my eyes, the woman my mother's jawline. The boys, one was Daniel as a child, the other was me. The photograph was over a century old, but the resemblance was absolute. We weren't just descended from these people, we were these people. The whispers told a story, a town that made a pact, a family line cursed to return, to feed the town, to become part of the land. Daniel hadn't just been researching our history, he'd been remembering it. He'd been called home, and now, so had I. The photographs were a mirror, showing me not who I was, but what I was about to become. The past was repeating, and I was next. Twilight settled over the ruins. There was one last place, the graveyard, headstones worn smooth, inscriptions almost erased. Daniel's note echoed, "Don't look at the stones." I walked among them, a trespasser among the forgotten. The silence was absolute, waiting. The town wanted me to see. Names emerged. My father, my mother, Daniel, all here, my grandparents, great-grandparents, every name Daniel had found, etched in stone. This wasn't a graveyard, it was a ledger. At the end next to Daniel's a blank headstone, smooth, unblemished, waiting. I touched it, it hummed with a latent power. This was my place, my end point. The whispers returned, a single word, welcome. The story was ending and I was part of it, the town had saved my place. This isn't a story I'm writing, crafting with intention and design. This is something else entirely, something that feels like it's writing itself through me. It's one I'm remembering, or being told to forget, a constant battle between what surfaces and what slips away like sand through my fingers. The edges of these memories are frayed, indistinct. My name is James, I think. It feels right, resonates somehow, but there's a nagging doubt, a whisper that questions its validity. Who am I if I can't even be sure of my own name? I came here for my brother, Daniel. He's the anchor to my past, the reason I braved this place, this unsettling town. I have to find him. His face is fading, like a photograph in water, the details blurring, threatening to disappear completely. I clutch at the image, desperate to hold on to him. I found his journal, a fragile link to his thoughts, his experiences, his last days before he vanished. Maybe within its pages, I'll find the answers I seek. The handwriting unravels, just like my thoughts, a chaotic scrawl that mirrors the turmoil within me. It's a struggle to decipher his words, to piece together the fragments of his story. He wrote about forgetting, the insidious creep of oblivion, the slow erosion of memory. First the small things, the everyday details that slip through the cracks of our minds. Then faces, the visages of loved ones, friends, family, fading into anonymity. Then yourself, the ultimate erasure, the loss of self, the terrifying prospect of becoming a stranger to your own reflection. The town takes your memories and gives you peace, a twisted bargain. A Faustian pact where identity is the price of tranquility. A place among the stones, a silent, eternal rest where memories cease to matter. The children are laughing, closer now, their innocent joy a stark contrast to the unsettling atmosphere of this place. They are the old ones, the keepers of the festival, their eyes holding secrets that stretch back through the ages. They watch, they wait, they remember. They invite me to play, to join their games, to surrender to the oblivion that this town offers. But you can't hide here. There are no shadows deep enough, no corners dark enough to escape their gaze. The town always finds you, its tendrils reaching into your mind, your memories, your very being. I can't remember the drive, the journey that brought me here, the road fading from my mind like a half-forgotten dream. My flat, the key in my pocket, objects that feel foreign, disconnected from any sense of belonging. It doesn't matter. The past is irrelevant here, a ghost that can't touch me. There are no doors here, only openings, invitations to step into the unknown, to lose yourself in the labyrinthine streets. It's getting dark, the shadows lengthening, the world fading into a monochrome landscape. I should be scared, but I'm just tired, bone-tired, soul-tired, weary of the fight against forgetting. The stone is waiting, a silent sentinel, a promise of oblivion, a beckoning embrace. It feels like coming home, a strange sense of familiarity, a pull towards this place of rest. I think I'll rest by it for a while, let the silence wash over me, let the memories fade. The whispers say it's time, a chorus of voices urging me to surrender, to let go, to forget. Daniel is waiting, or at least the idea of him is, a phantom limb of my memory, a reason to keep fighting. My place is saved, a space reserved for me in this town of forgotten souls, a final destination. My name is Jay, the rest of it is slipping away, the letters dissolving like sugar in water. It was James. I remember. A flicker of recognition, a spark of defiance against the encroaching darkness. The town is erasing me piece by piece, memory by memory, until there's nothing left but an empty shell. If you're reading this, then maybe, just maybe, a part of me has survived, a fragment of my story has escaped the town's grasp. I haven't forgotten completely, not yet. There's still a flicker of hope, a stubborn refusal to surrender to the oblivion. But the page is getting blurry, the words swimming before my eyes, the ink fading into the paper. The name on the stone is starting to appear, etched into the cold granite, a permanent marker of my impending fate. I can almost read it, the letters teasing me, promising a final answer, a resolution to this nightmare. It looks like M, the final letter lost in the shadows, a mystery that may never be solved. System log, deleting file Westford _investigation _J _Harris.docs. The digital world is mirroring my own fading existence, my investigation erased from the record, file not found, the digital ghost of my work vanished without a trace, system log searching browser history for Westford town. The system is desperately trying to find any trace of this place, any record of its existence. 0 results found. Westford is a void, a blank space in the digital landscape, a place that doesn't exist. System log deleting contact, Daniel Harris. My brother, the last connection to my past, is being erased from my digital life. Contact not found. He's gone, vanished from my phone, from my life as if he never existed. System log, erasing cache, erasing, complete. The final act of oblivion, the complete and utter erasure of my digital footprint.